What if I told you that what you were watching isn't real, isn't really happening right now, but is a virtual reality simulation of two guys sitting in a game room talking to a camera?
You know what I was about to say there? I was about to break in right after you can go imagine, if you will, and I was like, no, that's Twilight Zone.
That's
That's
Twilight
the
Zone.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, get with the script.
What script?
Yeah, exactly. What script? Welcome to the Black Dragon Tavern. I'm your host, Dante,
I'm your host, Deacon.
and this is episode 17. Just
17.
17, lining
17.
them up and knocking them down.
Yeah.
Can't believe it. Um, yeah, there won't. Well, yeah, there will be an episode 18. It just won't be tomorrow. So I might as well jump in and say that now. We're going to be taking the day off tomorrow, or the evening off, I should say, from the live stream channel here, while we go see the Madison Flamingos play at
Yeah.
Breese Stevens Field, downtown Madison, Madison, Wisconsin. So pretty excited about that. Going to go see a football match, soccer for all you U.S. fans out there, um, and that should be pretty cool. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to really shoot any video or
I don't
anything of
know
that
if we
because
will.
it's sponsored by another entity, and I don't want to, run afoul of doing anything like, you know, like associated with a channel with that. So, but anyway, a couple shout outs to AA Ron once again for stopping in last week. So, shout out to Chris for dropping in. Hope to see those guys tonight at some point over the evening. And shout out to the lurkers who were out there watching the video last week. I was looking at the stream count of live viewers. So it'd be nice to have you drop in and say hi in chat. Give us a follow. And Jesus, excuse me, it says nachos coming back up. Just did
Yeah.
one of my classic recipes, 5-pound nachos, and put a little too many jalapenos on there. So I'm gonna be paying for that later on. Be blasting off in a whole lot of pain. I'll be like worse than a, what is it, SpaceX rocket on the way to. Anyway, I digress. All right. So what do we have up on the? What do we have queued up tonight? We're gonna be doing first half of the show's Fireside Chat. And for those of you who tune in regularly, you're aware of that. But for anybody who's new out there watching it, about the first hour or so, we just sit around here and rant or talk about stuff and get into some deep discussions once in a while. Most of the time, it's just joking around and doing bullshit like that.
Hey, Haas. Thanks for the follow.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Haas. And then second half of the show, we're going to be broadcasting from the workbench where we do miniature painting and kit bashing and a whole lot of fun stuff like that. So if you're here for the whole stream, you get to see that. I think this week Deacon's going to be working on some 40K. What do they
40K,
call?
what's new?
No, yeah, what's new? I'll be working on gobos. What's new? Finishing up those goblins finally. You're working on an army for your buddy though, right? Some
Yeah.
special troops, special unit. That's
Yep.
cool. All right. Well, as far as like stuff that was going on this week, Deacon, I saw. I know you love lists, and I know you love when I go into great detail on lists. So I'm sorry. Was that a long, exasperated sigh I heard
Hmm?
over there?
Hmm?
uh, I actually cut it short for you this week
That's good.
because I was going to leave the burden of carrying the whole segment up to you. So I
Oh.
figured I'd buzz through the notes and then sit here quietly and smile at you.
So that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it is. But no, anyway, Polygon published a list of what they're calling the 5 best cooperative games, and I thought it was really kind of interesting. I I'm gonna read this list. It's real quick. It's Arkham Horror, the card game, Spirit Island, Nemesis, Pandemic Legacy Season 1, and Gloomhaven. Now, I know several of these. These aren't new games. These are anywhere from like 5 years to 2 or 3 years old. So I thought it was interesting that this article that was just published was talking about these games, as like, I don't know. They didn't necessarily talk about them as hot new games, but they said they thought they were the best cooperative games. And I've got to agree, a lot of these are really good. Like the Arkham Horror card game, for example, is based off the classic board game.
Yeah.
And that's when you definitely need 4 people to play. It's like a 4 hour long game. And I know every time I hit Gen Con, I try to get into one of those games at least one round, one session.
Yeah.
And that's something I think you'd like. I think you'd really enjoy that game if we could find other players to play it. But apparently the card game is the light version of that, and it's supposed to move pretty decently in terms of speed. So that's out there to check out. Spirit Island sounded interesting. It's the anti-colonization game.
Hmm.
So you basically play an island culture, aka like a native or primitive tribe. That's the thing that's a little tropey about that, as far as like that game goes. But yeah, buggering up the camera here, but that's all good. Um, in that game, you're effectively trying to protect the island and its resources and its peoples while fending off the colonization of the whole thing.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, there's that. And then there's Pandemic Legacy, and that's from the famous board game franchise, Pandemic.
Which we just played that a while back, didn't we? Just before the start of quarantine.
I think so. I don't remember. I mean, God, we played so many games in the last year or two. But that's another good one. It's immensely popular game globally. Ironically,
Yeah.
because it's literally about having to assemble a team and fight off a global pandemic. You have to come up with a cure for it.
What we played was I was thinking of Zombicide, I think.
Zombicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, not related to Pandemic at all.
No.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Pandemic teamed up with them to come up with like a Zombicide
cool.
Pandemic. I mean, there's a zombie pandemic. They did team up with World of Warcraft, like I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, not a month ago or so on the stream. We talked about that. So that should be something to look for. And I know I'd get my ass kicked for bringing it in the house by a certain member of the family here because they don't think that it's right to be playing a game about a global pandemic in the middle of an actual global pandemic. But again, related to the story I talked about a month back on the stream. They're right there on the tip of my tongue, the name of the company that produces that game. They took a year off out of respect for victims of COVID-19.
I remember hearing about
and
that.
Stopped publishing. So now they're back at it because apparently for a little while there, with the big lull, the big dip in COVID cases, a lot of game producers, especially them, thought, like, okay, this is a good time to start ramping up production again. And then all of a sudden, Delta, right? Another one that they had on the list is Gloomhaven, and this was a wildly popular game.
I've heard of that. Yeah,
it's a up to date, like modernized dungeon crawl, just hardcore. Like people love it. It was popular when it came out. I got to see the premiere of it at ACD Games Day a couple years back. Before they stopped doing that because of COVID. You notice a theme here, and so that's another one. Cooperation is key if you want to keep your shit in that game because you collect a whole lot of goodies throughout the dungeon crawl, and if you don't team together to get out of there, you wind up losing your shit there. The one I didn't do a write up on, I didn't really look into. I haven't played it. It's called Nemesis, but I believe based on the pictures I saw of it, I think it's an alien-like game. There were what looked to be like full-on xenomorphs in the photos for that, in the promotional photos for that. So I'll have to look that up. But viewers out there, if you want to look that up, knock yourself out. It's called Nemesis. And again, I'll post all the links up to all this stuff up on the Discord server. Probably Sunday I'll do that. Or if not tonight, sometime over the weekend. Sunday's usually the day that I sit down and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if there's something you want to see sooner, if you want to reference back to any of the things we talk about here, shoot us a message. You can do that here on Twitch through the chat. You can do that through the YouTube channel, which is posted on our About page here on Twitch. You can tweet us on Twitter. The Twitter handle is at @Tavern_Black. We're on Instagram at Black Dragon Tavern Online. And we're on Facebook as well, and that's just simply Black Dragon Tavern. So there's the social drops. Got that knocked out of the way.
Discord on Twitch page.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's good catch there. Because I mentioned putting up the resources on the Discord page. The link to the Discord server is on our About page here on Twitch. You can get to that either from the front page of our channel or through the About page. What else? Oh, look, another list. but I kept it short.
It's gonna be a long stream.
I kept it short for you just to satisfy you. Um, Polygon, my new favorite go-to source for a lot of like pop culture news and tips and stuff. They published 11 new graphic novels that are coming to a comic store near you, and there was some really cool sounding stuff there. So, if you get around, I should be really careful how I say this because I'm not anti Marvel and I'm not anti DC, but they're not what I am immediately drawn to personally in my taste for graphic novels.
Yeah.
So if you can get around those and expand your graphic novel universe a little bit, there was some really cool sounding stuff there. And I made note of two of them that I wanted to mention. One of them I really thought you might be interested in, and it's called Berserker. And it's Berserker Volume One. That's BRZ RKR. So it's like, kind of like, what was it? Tumblr? Yeah, exactly. They got a thing against consonant or vowels. So they got a vowel problem. Irritable vowels.
Spell that one more time because I want to see if that's the one I was thinking of.
BRZ RKR. And it's brand new. So it's coming out. Volume 1's due out October 5th. It's not published yet. But apparently, it follows the saga of a half-man, half-god as he wanders the world in search of refuge. And it's a modern-day story. It's not like... I'm sure at some point it'll have ties to the past, like a Viking genetic tie or something, I would be willing to bet, because of the way the storyline sounds. But, so... The answer to his curse, to why he's cursed, sadly, lies in the hands of none other than, guess who? The U.S. government. Dun, dun, dun. So, of course, in typical, government fashion, they promise him, hey, we'll give you the key to this, to solving your curse, to fixing your curse, but you got to do a little work for us first.
Yeah.
You got to go out and you got to do these battles and missions that are too gruesome for our normal troops to do.
Now, quick question. You didn't happen to check the date on that article, did you? Because Berserker Volume 1 released, it already came to comic stores back in March.
What?
Seriously.
Yeah,
and
this was a recent article.
It's actually gone so far that between then and now, Netflix has secured the rights to that, and they're doing a series about that with Keanu Reeves as the main character.
Screw you, Polygon. I mean, this is terrible. Like, I'm recycling old trash here, basically, like old news.
Well,
that's messed up. I spent all this time this week looking stuff up, and I'm really careful about watching for dates on those articles.
So,
the thing
is... It's funny, I was pulling that up. I was pulling pictures of it up to see if it was the same Berserker that I'm thinking of. It's a different one. But the first picture I pulled up had a picture of the guy, of like the main character.
Yeah.
He's got the black hair, he's got the beard, and they had him next to a picture of Keanu
AKA
Reeves.
John Wick. Keanu Reeves.
They had him next to a picture of Keanu Reeves.
AKA, Neo.
Yeah, they look pretty similar. And then I looked at the article and it's like, Netflix Berserker show to star Keanu Reeves. So.
I saw a meme the other day. It was like, John Wick fans, why is John Wick in the Matrix? And then it was like, Matrix fans, one day they'll wake up and know, or something. I think it was a line from John Wick or something like that.
Matrix fans, when did Neo get a dog?
Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah.
But that's the big drop I'm gonna talk about in a little bit here. So anyway, Berserker. Okay. Screw you, Polygon. And well, there you go. It sounds like it's good graphic novel, so we'll have to hit our local store and check that out.
Were there any others on that list that you were going to bring up?
There was, why don't you check out, there was one called The Waiting, and it's a Korean-produced comic, graphic novel by Keum Suk Gendry Kim. It's Keum, it's the first name, Suk, S-U-K, Gendry, Gendry, hyphen Kim.
Well, the good news is that one is not out yet.
Well, according to Polygon, it's supposed to be available October 19th. Oh, see? We're finding different information. So, anyway, it's based off of Gendry Kim. She's the author. Based off of her the one secret experiences of her mother is how the article describes it. And apparently it highlights the fictional story We know how that goes, like how much of fiction is actually truth. Fictional story of a young girl who was married off in the hopes of saving her from the invading forces during the Korean War. And the story follows the mother's life and love over the span of 70 years through colonization and political unrest. So it's kind of a week of colonization and anti-colonization events and topics that have been happening here, along with a lot of virtual reality stuff. So check that one out. That's called The Waiting. And again, we'll post the links up on the Discord server there. And here's one that you'll like that should wake you up. Games Workshop is releasing a new, it's called an exclusive. They're actually calling it an exclusive this Saturday. It's a Barnes & Noble exclusive, which means affordable and limited, probably. But I guess we'll see how that marketing goes. And I know you know about this because we talked about this a little bit, but the viewers, obviously, they may know about it, but I've got to tell them anyway because I did the homework on it. So it's called Fire Team. And it's essentially the light version of Kill Team. You can tell already they spent a whole lot of marketing dollars in coming up with a really original, unique name for the product. But apparently the one thing it has over Fire Team is you get 2 complete battle forces in it. Now, what complete battle forces mean is like a whole other thing.
Yeah,
My guess is maybe
so
half a dozen to 8 to 10 maybe troops for a unit against like an opposing force so that you can, and it's a board game.
yeah.
You know, it's a skirmish game basically.
So
And that retails for, where was it? I want to say it was like $49.99. It's got dice, a board, team cards, and other goodies in it.
So I wouldn't really call that like Kill Team Light or however you described it. I would say that's more of like a standalone board game that just so happens to use 40k minis. Kind of like how we have that Warhammer Underworld's Shadespire up there.
Yeah.
And how that's just a single, you get like 10 minis total. And nope. You get like 10 minis total, and you've got a board, and you can only do certain things with it.
I hit this damn basket every time I'm off camera. This is really irritating.
It's true. You do hit it every time we're off camera. But, yeah, so it's going to be more like at least from what I've heard, more like that than any sort of actual war game or skirmish game even.
Well, the article described it as like a light version of Kill Team, because they basically took the rules and overhauled the rules to adapt it for this smaller scale board game, skirmish game. So that's where I'm drawing my. I haven't played the game obviously because it's not out.
Yeah.
It will be out tomorrow, so check if you're a Barnes and Noble shopper. We're not really because we support our local bookstores. Although we did have a beef with half price books and their buyback policy, which sucks. Donkey balls. Don't sell your books there. It's I love the place to shop, but they give you shit for buyback money
Until
on
they
books.
sponsor us, don't give them your books.
Yeah, we're not saying boycott them. Just don't sell your books there. You're better off giving them to like Goodwill or St. Vinny's or like little free my little libraries or whatever they're called. Anyway, Barnes and Noble tomorrow. Warhammer Fire Team.
Yeah.
So and it's affordable. It'd make a good Christmas gift. Good Christmas gift if you celebrate Christmas or a birthday gift or whatever.
So, I don't think there's. I mean, you have this thing saying that it's like taking the Kill Team rules and kind of simplifying them.
I didn't say that. The article
well,
said
I know,
that.
but that's why I said you have this thing that's saying this.
Yeah.
I don't think there's.
I don't have the thing. The internet has the thing.
I don't think there's a whole lot to simplify
I'm trying to
there.
slippery weasel my way out of this if it sucks donkey balls. So.
If you think about it, like, it all boils down to like basic stuff that you'll get in like most board games. You can move this many tiles, and whatever, and then you'll have some stuff that'll still be like 40k. Your strength and your weapon and all that. Sorry, hiccups. But a lot of it just seems like it's going to be a board game because they did release another thing exclusively at Barnes & Noble in the past, and they're still selling it from what I understand. Or at least at our local one, they're still selling it. And that was kind of proposed as the same thing, but what it ended up being effectively is like you have a board, and it's...
I'm sorry. Did I nod off?
It's kind of like the old the one they released before, from what I understood, looked kind of like the old Hero Quest, where you've got a board and there are rooms on it, and you don't really know what's in them until you go in there. Except there's like not a whole lot of replayability because
Space Junk, Hulk Drifter. What was that? What was that game that sounds like that?
So they had one board that had, it was only like that big or whatever, you know, because the box is only like this big. So they had one board that had all the rooms already laid out on there, so the rooms never really changed, and then you've only got like 8 minis in there in total and 2 dice, you know.
So it kind of makes you wonder about the replayability of something like that with a fixed board. At least with Space Hulk, you could move the tiles around and create different layouts.
Yeah, and there's like the whole
mission book. Yep.
Same with Hero Quest. You've got, even though the rooms are in the same spot on the board, all of the missions or the quests are different.
Yeah, because you're hitting different rooms that have different things in them, and totally.
The one thing I'm really disappointed about with this is this old game, and it was called like Space Marine. It was something like really basic, like Space Marine Quest or something like that, something along that line. But they had really cool minis in it. Like, all of the minis that were in there that you could get were all unique sculpts. And they were all Space Marines from different chapters, but they would have, like, the iconography molded on, and they would all have something that, like, ties them to their chapter. It was really cool. But from what I see in this new one, it's generic, just the basic, like, Assault Intercessor kit that you can already buy, but, like, half of it. Because you only get, like, 5 models on that side.
I wonder if that's because they're going to encourage people to expand upon it, you know, like,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Buy the expansion, and it means you need more intercessors, so, you know, and then your intercessors will all match the ones that came in the box set.
Yeah. I mean, all this new stuff they're doing lately has been kind of tying into, like, building an army. So, like, they have the Imperium Magazine, which I think I told you about before, where it's like a monthly subscription magazine or whatever, and every now and then they'll send you some minis in there, and by the end of it, after, like, having subscribed for a year or something like that, you'll have a full, like, however much, like 1,000 or 2,000 point army. And they're doing multiple different runs of it that you can subscribe to, so you can start, like, you can subscribe and they'll send you a Chaos Army, or Imperium, or Necrons, or Orcs, or whatever. Yeah. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they're releasing it as, like, here's a board game. You can also use this board game to, like, start your army, hint hint, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, they're all like launching pads. This is why a lot of these articles that refer to these products like this refer to them as the light version, the entry level. Entry level is another big term for that type of stuff because it is. It's an easy way to get into the hobby. It's the 40K hobby that is also known as the mortgage yourself for life hobby, or the basically like give up your firstborn child, you know, to finance your plastic crack habit.
Arm, leg, baby, liver, soul, house.
Yeah, essentially. But this was a surprise, and I'm glad you mentioned it because it reminded me. I didn't put it on here. I was going to save it for the next show, but
we're going off the rails.
I'd be remiss here. Yeah, we're going off the show notes. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it, and that is, and I'm so excited about it. Not that I need it, but like I always thought of buying expansions. Hero Quest, the new republished version is coming out in just a couple weeks,
and I am also very excited for that.
Yeah. For those of you who watch or tune in or watch the VODs, a couple weeks back we did play a live version of Hero Quest, and we had Deacon's boyfriend Griffin over as a guest to play, and it was fun. I
It
hadn't
is
played
fun.
that in so long.
I love that game so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. We talk about that all the time, and every time we talk about it, we talk about it so fondly. It's like, why don't we play it more? You know. And I
I
know,
think a big part of it is just time.
yeah. I mean, it's more of a rhetorical question because
Oh well, yeah.
you're
Okay.
working, I'm working, and when we're not doing that, we're what's going on?
Oh, I was just
Oh, you
going
freaked me out. I
backstage.
thought you like cut the stream off or
No.
something. I was like, wait, what? Yeah, it is time management, because we got other stuff going on. So, but that's one that we should put in our regular rotation,
Yeah.
because there's that whole book, the whole quest log.
It's
you know,
free
and
stream content. We can always say like, hey, we've got the next six game sessions planned out. We're just gonna be playing Hero
Yeah.
Quest, Or
those
you can splice it up as well. Hey, we've got the next 20 battle zone sessions already planned out. This week we're gonna be playing the next mission in Hero Quest. Week after that, the next mission in the Space Hulk book. After that, back to Hero Quest, so on and so forth.
stagger it so people don't get bored.
Yeah,
I
mixing other
kinda
stuff
like that.
like today we're going to be doing the next scenario of Memoir 44. Today we're going to be doing, just to mix it up, just radically mix it up. We're going to be playing, Wasabi or whatever. Just throw something random in there.
That's another problem we haven't played in ages.
We should play that sometime.
Yeah. No, once we start getting into 3-player and 4-player games, then we got to start bringing on some more guests here. So that's another good.
Shame.
That's another segue.
Hold on, let me finish real quick. So the streamer that I watched, Ludwig, he was saying one of his keys to success in making content. One of them is stealing content from other people and then fitting it to his
Yoink
channel.
and twist.
The yoink and twist, yeah. But his other key is just find something that works and then keep going back to it with the other stuff that worked in between. So, if you have something that worked pretty well, keep doing it. And then just, throw in your other stuff that worked just to kind of spice it up. So,
kind of like those dudes who have only been up for a couple weeks and already yoinked and twisted our Fireside Chat. Ooh, did I say that out loud?
I didn't say anything.
It's the OG Fireside Chat right here with your hosts, Deacon and Dante, coming from the Black Dragon Tavern.
Yeah, you get it because that's the fire. This is the chat.
And we're beside the fire. Anyway, yeah, no, I mean that's good. That's that. I was actually going to pose it to the viewership and see, and maybe put something online and say, what would you like to see? Would you like to see one game consecutively played through, all of the quests in Hero Quest for however many weeks it takes us to do it, versus a different game every week, but a new chapter, a new adventure, a new quest, a new mission, you recommended.
The other thing,
I'm up for either one.
Yeah, the other thing that might become happening more often. That was a horrible sentence.
Yeah,
that
it was. But roll with it.
I think I'm in a college English class. The other thing that might be happening more recently.
Words have you.
Yeah. Are RPG games, because hopefully sometime in the future, near-ish future, we want to start this RPG that we run, or that you run, that I play in, and that might be a weekly or bi-weekly or whenever thing, depending on the players' schedules and all that.
Yeah, there are a lot of logistics involved there, and a lot of approvals on if people are cool with being broadcast live too.
Yeah.
If not, we may be looking for new players. I don't know if I'm going to go virtual on that, and bring people in, kind of 20 sides to every story does. I mean, Joe, our good friend Joe Alfano was using another friend's platform, I think, to run D&D Adventure League, and they just finished it up with Frost Maiden. The hell's the name of that adventure? It's right on the tip of my brain. I'm pulling it out of my rear because I wasn't planning on talking about it. But anyway, point being, he did a really good job of bringing people together regularly to play that game consistently every week. I don't have that kind of luck. Maybe I could. Maybe we can team up with Joe and get some other players and run things. Total, I could prep some stuff, but I mean, look around the room. We got all this kick-ass terrain and all these miniatures.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
You know,
we've got all this shit that's taking up the table. Where are we gonna put the game?
well, we've got that too. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, other than my DM screen, like we really do need to keep this clean for that kind of stuff for
Yeah,
when we do the battle zone on Saturdays. But anyway,
and
we're
then
like way off the rails now.
we are. Yeah.
So, yeah, so we're talking about games, doing regular games every week. We'll post that to the viewership. What would you like to see? But we've got some good ideas about that, so
Yeah.
we just run with it. Hero
Cool.
Quest, bringing it all the way back
Oh,
around.
okay.
Watch for Hero Quest in your favorite local game store in the next week or two here. We're really excited about
Yeah,
that.
I know we'll
Um,
definitely be picking
and
up. So
Yeah,
keep an eye on it.
and just to put that into perspective for folks who might not know, like the new copy, I can't speculate what the new copy is going to cost retail, and I should know this being a retailer,
You
but
should.
I'm not selling board games anymore. Um, but I can tell you this: if you go looking for this on eBay, you're going to wind up paying $200 to $350 for an original copy of the game in good shape, even if it's like worn cover. They're going for a boatload of money.
They
I'm
are.
expecting to probably see those prices drop unless people are really hardcore, like I want the original and I'll pay a fortune for it. I happen to have one of the original ones, so I count myself lucky. Knock wood for that. But again, might be nice, if they do the expansions. Like they had several advanced Hero Quest expansions and whatnot. So
That's cool.
yep,
I want to see what they do with the minis for that.
yeah, yeah. I would
Also-
imagine it's probably going to be the same. I don't think they're going to be painted, but I imagine they might be a little more detailed.
Yeah.
Like the production processes now have come a long way since they first produced that game.
The one thing I almost hope they don't change is the art on the cards.
Yeah,
I love that art.
that
on the
retro
card.
style art. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
That
I guess
that and the pose of the old Chaos Warrior where he's standing like this.
yeah. I mean, we can ask James up at Noble Knight to
Yeah.
set
To
aside
save
a
us a
copy.
copy.
Yeah. Jinx, you owe me a
Yep.
Coke.
Nope.
All right. The next thing I want to talk about, it's Facebook's WhatsApp. So I don't know if you use that or not, but like for people who use WhatsApp, um, they just got called out for being able to effectively eavesdrop on your conversations and extract metadata from your actual chat transcripts.
That's
And
sad,
they claim
but not surprising.
no, it's not surprising, but like every time something like this happens, I feel incumbent to, spread the word as far and wide and as loudly as I can, like to call these social media companies out on their bullshit. And the reason I say bullshit is like, what's that?
I said, here's your weekly fuck Facebook reminder.
Yeah, my weekly fuck Facebook reminder, exactly. And for those of you who know me, like where that's coming from, like the double standards that Facebook promotes. But anyway, point is this WhatsApp. They claim they boast all the time about it's encrypted end to end, right? End to end encryption is their big thing, and I'm doing air quotes because that's their big selling point, their big marketing talking point. Every time they mention that app is, we're the only one that encrypts it from end to end. Well, it turns out like some of that shit's not encrypted at some point in the process. Maybe it's before it starts at the first end. Maybe it's while it's in the pipeline to get in to start from the first end. But they can actually pull this shit out and they can turn it over to law enforcement officials and have been doing so apparently. So, not so much with the total safe Signal type thing. And even Signal is not safe, because I'm reading like all over the place about the feds having access to Signal logs and stuff for people that were there during the attempted coup on January 6th.
Nobody? No platform is like fully, well, almost.
There could be, but
No.
you couldn't.
Okay.
You almost would have to.
No easily available platform that you can just download, like Signal or WhatsApp or whatever.
Consumer grade.
Yeah,
like no consumer grade. Yeah. Anyway, having worked in the high tech industry for the last like going on 30 years now, there's nothing is sacred. Nothing is unbreachable that you can get a hold of online. Let's just leave it at that. And speaking of the web and the internet and hacking and breaching and cracking the secrets behind
The wool that
what
they pull
really
over their eyes.
happens on the internet and the programming involved and what really happens behind the world they pulled over your eyes. That's right.
Yeah.
The Matrix
Hell
Resurrections.
Yeah. Yep.
The trailer dropped for that last night. And the timing was kind of funny because we were saving this to talk about tonight. We're so excited. Like they
Very
had the
excited.
interactive "What is the Matrix" website
Yeah,
with the
yep.
2 trailers. You could take the red pill or you could take the blue pill. And if you haven't seen that yet, go check that out. It's probably still up online. I didn't check it today, but now that the full trailer dropped, you can go to YouTube and watch that as well. And that's really cool. It looks really good. Um, but whatisthematrix.com, they have a big white screen and they have the red pill and they have the blue pill. And then you take the red pill and it gives you one set of teasers and scenes and parts of the trailer, parts of a different trailer. And when you come out, they do a little bit of interactive interaction too, like real time interaction. Like they say, you may think it's 9:47 right now, but I'm looking at my watch to see how close I am. Well, it's like 8:48, something like that.
It's about an hour.
So for the
off.
East Coast people, I was almost close. Anyway, and then you come out and then you take the blue pill, and then it sends you to the other side. So the red pill is Neo going back into the Matrix. The blue pill is him meeting with none other than
Morpheus?
no
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris, who plays Neo's psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And he's in the psychiatrist's office saying, "I think I'm going crazy." He's like, "We don't use that word here." Yeah.
Whenever I think of the whole, taking the red pill versus the blue pill, I always think of this video that I saw a while back, and it was completely stupid, but it was a video of this guy in like a really low budget Neo cosplay. He had like instead of like a trench coat or whatever, he had on like a sleek black bathrobe, and he had his hair all slicked back, and he had like just a pair of sunglasses on, and he had his friend offer him the red pill and the blue pill, and he looked at it, and he just put both his mouth and chugged it with a shot of vodka or something like that, and then it cut to him dancing. There's like party lights and all that.
God, yeah.
So
like dropping ecstasy or something. Oh my God.
So whenever I think of that whole thing, that's just what I think of now.
We could pretty much do that with NyQuil because they've got they've got pills that are pretty close. Yeah, yeah. You could hand me the pill. You could have little glasses on. I got little glasses I can let you use, and you hand it to me. The red pill or the blue pill, and I'll be like, I need one that's not gonna make me fall asleep.
Yeah.
It's like, sneeze all over the place. That'd be pretty funny.
There's
we
could
produce
blow us up on YouTube.
Yeah, we could totally do that and put that up on YouTube. But so yeah, check it out. Whatisthematrix.com for the interactive version, and then of course the full
More
trailer
importantly, yeah, the
is
full trailer.
available. And we
Definitely
watched
watch
that, and that was really freaking cool. And I wish I could remember that meme I saw. I wish I could remember that meme that said something like John Wick fans, asking, why is John Wick in the Matrix? And then Matrix fans were something like, and they quoted a movie from, I see what's going on. There is a real Haas, and I can't remember their actual username, so that's for the
Talk about it later.
yeah, all right. I was just gonna say what was going on for the regulars. Anyway, so we brought up a good topic. We were talking about it today, like the whole thing of like why Lawrence Fishburne isn't in it, reprising the role as Morpheus.
Quick thing, do you know the name of the guy who's doing the role now?
The actor or the character?
Actor.
No.
Yeah, God, I'm gonna butcher this, so I'm apologizing ahead of time, but he has an awesome name. It's Yahya Abdul Mateen II.
Yes, I did see
Yep.
that published the other day when I was reading a little bit about this. That is a cool name. It's a hell of a name. So, you mentioned something that I hadn't seen, but I thought that was a pretty telling story. So the first one was what?
So we originally brought it up, and we were just kind of thinking like, what's up with this? Why? I wonder why Lawrence Fishburne isn't back in here. And you were saying you wonder if that's a thing of him not really like having a whole lot of faith in the movie or like not having high expectations for it. So
Yeah, it could have been anything.
Yeah.
It could have been like, there are some actors who were never given a second chance at their original
Yeah.
roles because they were LGBTQIA plus, anti-trans,
whatever. But
yeah.
the weird thing is, I looked it up.
So we're not
And-
saying Lawrence Fishburne is any of that. We're just putting this in the context of other actors
Yeah.
who have been called out.
So I looked it up, and the reason that he is not in this movie, which makes no sense, is in the Matrix Online, the 2005 online MMO, his character died, or his character like he ran off with some other faction that was trying to like find another chosen one or something like that. So they sent an agent after him. The agent assassinated him in the game. But he just got killed off in this random, not, from what I understood, not super popular, not super well known, or even high budget Matrix MMO. Which is why, for some reason, he's not coming back to the movie. And it's funny because I was thinking about this when I was walking out of work earlier today. So I just clocked out and I was like, okay, I'm gonna check my note. It was just kind of in the back of my head, still thinking about it from earlier.
Mhm.
I pulled out my phone to check my notifications, and one of the first ones was one of those little articles that pops up, like recommended for you, and it was, "Does dying in the Matrix online make you die in the movie?" So it was.
You're like, whoa.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
It's like a glitch in the Matrix. You
Let
see
me-
little cat at
well,
work today
hold
run
on,
past you
hold
twice
on.
at the
So-
vet.
There were a set of dogs there who were triplets, so maybe.
Oh,
But here's the creepy thing. I got home and, we made the nachos, we did
Cerberus.
all that, and I sat down and I was going to work on some world building for a thing that I'll talk about later in the stream. And I thought, okay, what's a great way to get world building ideas for a cyberpunk game?
Reread
Cyber-
Neuromancer.
Also that, but Cyberpunk 2077, where you
Yeah.
can see it. So I booted up Cyberpunk 2077, hopped in wherever I left off. I just started a new character recently, and I had to go to Jig Street to talk to Wakako.
Yeah.
And I walked there, and you know what it was?
What?
Deja vu. Because one of the biggest selling points of the game, obviously, is the glitches. So I found one of those where everybody on Jig Street was the same person.
Yes.
It was all like an African American woman,
Yep.
pretty young, 20s or whatever, blue jeans and a brown jacket.
Walking this
Just
way, walking that way,
yeah,
walking that way.
every way.
Yep.
And I was
Up on the skywalks.
the funny
and on
thing
the...
was, I had just, I'd seen the article about the Matrix when I was going out to the car, and I got home, we did all that. I sat down, booted up, loaded in, and I go, huh, whoa, deja vu. And
Did somebody appear over your shoulder and go, what?
yeah.
Big sign that there's a glitch in the Matrix.
Yep.
It's being infiltrated by the agents.
So,
Agent Smith.
Agent Elrond.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been like
Neo.
a weird day for that kind of stuff. There were the 3 dogs that looked similar-ish. The triplets. The 3 Musketeers.
Yeah.
The-
Hugo Weaving is a bomb though.
He is.
I
He's
hope
awesome.
I hope they revise his role. I didn't see that.
He's not going to be in it.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a damn
They've
shame.
got a new agent to act.
They should have a role for everybody that was in the original one
They
in
should.
some cameo
At the
or something.
very least,
you know?
some sort of like flashback or something.
But
you know?
here's my thing. So here's my thing. They're not gonna. Okay, there's also I'm having my own Matrix glitch up here right now because am I mistaken or didn't Morpheus actually die in one of the movies? I thought he died,
Now,
and like that's why ultimately in the very end, Neo became one and he passed on. He went on to a higher consciousness or whatever.
I can't really say because I watched parts of the other ones. Was it like Matrix Revelations.
Revelations. There was like
2, whatever.
Revolutions.
Yeah.
I think there was Revolutions and Revelations,
So I
but I
didn't
can't
really.
remember.
I
like,
never finished watching
There was Brotherhood.
2, 3, and
There was.
yeah.
Oh no, wait, that's Assassin's Creed. Yeah, sorry.
So I never finished watching 2 and 3. Obviously, can't watch 4 yet; it's not out. But I didn't finish watching the other 2, so I can't. I don't know if he died in those or not. But
And it's been so long since I've watched them.
Yeah.
I've had
can't
like
remember.
a billion things going on since, and again, I'm not that fanboy who's going to be like, you know.
Yeah.
And then in the third volume, they, you know, and tell you the whole like,
Yeah.
let me tell you
But
about
what
my character.
what I
kind
do
of a
remember
plot.
is in the end of the first movie, they were all in that building, and they were kind of like climbing down through that chute, and he got stuck in there, and he got
shot up.
he got shot up, but that didn't kill him. And well, that didn't kill him because if you remember, he got pulled out of the wall. Agent Smith reached through the wall and pulled him out, and just started fighting him there,
Wailing his ass.
And
On
I
his ass.
can't
See, that's why I thought he died, but
And the thing I can't
Could be
remember
wrong.
because it's been a while since I've seen it as well. We need to rewatch all 3 of them before we go see 4. But I can't remember if they showed him dead/dying in that scene, or if that was kind of before they brought him to their building and before that whole thing happened where... Because you remember Neo and Trinity, they go into the lobby and they've got the whole, you know, it's the classic scene.
running up the wall and stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what happened to him.
Yeah.
I guess that's just another reason why we have to rewatch it.
Time for nachos and late night movies, I guess.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies.
So,
speaking of movies.
I'll paper, rock, scissors you for it. So we do 3. Paper, rock,
Go.
shoot. Right?
Yeah.
Paper, rock, scissors. Okay.
It always
2 out of 3?
works. No. Speaking of movies, and speaking of movies in the cyberpunk kind of genre, I rewatched Johnny Mnemonic this morning.
Nice.
So I managed to find it for free on a very helpful site.
We have the DVD.
I didn't know that.
Dude, yeah. How could you not know that? We just watched it like a month ago.
I thought we got it on Amazon.
Wow, man. Like, I mean, I know we went to see Bongzilla. We didn't get to see Dope Smoker, but I think I got a Dope Smoker sitting next to me. Dude.
So,
like,
in
we
my
have
defense,
that. We have
okay,
that. Like, I
well,
break it out every once in a while when I'm feeling really desperate to watch, like, some sort of, like, cyberpunk movie.
In my defense, I thought we watched it on Amazon.
I want room service!
I thought we watched it on Amazon, and it was like 8:30 in the morning, and I just wasn't thinking about the DVD shelf, so...
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That's a fair cop.
Yeah. So, I rewatched that this morning. It was very cheesy, but I love that movie so much. It's so fun.
But when you watch it, did you remember, like, did you not remember watching it with me recently?
No, I remembered watching it recently. I just wanted to watch it again.
Man. Bad motherfucker.
J-Bone.
Yep, J-Bone. Bad motherfucker. I love that role.
But, I did remember watching it just recently, but I just wanted to watch it again, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Good inspiration for...
Total brain fart. Good inspiration for a cyberpunk campaign that I'm going to be running. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because...
Oh, yeah. I said geese.
So I don't want to talk too much about it because I do believe, at the very least, one of the players who's going to be in it is a stream watcher, or watches parts of the streams at least. So can't really give away too much, but there's going to be some cool shit in there. Really going... I'm excited. It is my first time DMing, whatever, a game.
Yeah.
It's my first time running a game for anybody. So I have been really kind of like cramming in, like, okay, I need to rewatch Johnny Mnemonic. I need to play more Cyberpunk. I need to do all of this. I've got a campaign written out,
And you just started rereading Neuromancer.
I did, yeah.
You got the book, the paperback right off the camera here, but he was reading that right before the stream too.
So I've actually got a whole campaign written out already, like the whole story and all that. Yeah. The characters that they'll meet for the most part, gangs they'll run into, challenges they'll face, all of that. And I'm excited. I think that I have hit a pretty good little balance so far between having... I'm not going to talk about what all is in there, but I think there's a good mix of exploration and kind of like, I don't know if questioning is the right word, but like exploring and looking around to find information, social situations, trying to like diplomatically solve things, and then fighting and all that.
Yeah,
so
I really like that fantasy element that you baked into it with the cybernetic rainbow ponies. That's really freaking awesome.
And then and then when they go around Night City farting glitter dust everywhere, they don't need to do that. Everybody already wears that.
You won't be like in an autopiloted car. You'll be on a glitter dust farting cybernetic rainbow pony.
AV? No, we have unicorns. So, yeah. They do have to. Your players have to make that noise every time that they take off and land. Yeah. So, I'm excited. I'm very nervous and also very excited because
you'll do well.
On the one hand, I'm excited because it's a big group. There are 6 players in this group that I am going to be running for, and on the other hand, holy shit, 6 is a big number for that. Like our groups have been around like 3 or 4.
Do any of the players have experience in playing Cyberpunk?
Yes. One of the players in there, hope you don't mind if I name drop you, Reese.
That's fine.
They are actually from...
Oh, you're talking to Reese.
Yeah. I don't know if they actually watch the stream. Okay. So, they are
Reese should be watching the stream.
From what I understand, they are actually in... We're trying to figure out scheduling, which is the biggest issue because practically everybody in the group is in college, working, or in college and working.
Wait.
Sorry.
Wait.
We were trying to figure out
scheduling. You're a new GM.
Yes.
Dungeon Master, I guess, would be referring to like fantasy role playing in the dungeons. GM is just Game Master.
Yeah.
You're a new GM.
Yep.
Got a group together that said, "Hey, this sounds cool."
Yep.
And you're having scheduling issues?
I know, it's insane.
God, I could
never
have
imagine
that problem.
Yeah. So everybody in the group is in college or working or both, so it's like, all right, when works for people?
Okay.
All right. We have 7 days in the week. None of that? Okay. So... my first thoughts were...
Paging through your calendar, like, 2037. Isn't that about when this is supposed to happen in the book? Mm-hmm. No, seriously, like, isn't it in the 2030s? Or they had now they had to push it forward because it was too...
The earliest one, the one that was like in the 80s and the 90s, whenever it came out, was Cyberpunk 2020.
That I remember.
And then they decided, we need another war, and they boosted it all the way up to 2045 after the 4th Corporate War, which, funnily enough, starts in 2021. So there's still like...
Which brings us all the way back to like all this shit happening with the Matrix
all the... There's still 3 months left in the year, so... I don't know. Amazon could start sending out troops for all we know.
Yeah, those deliver drones we were talking about?
Oh, wait, shit. I can't make that joke. Amazon owns Twitch. So, anyways, Reese, one of the players in there, they are in 2 ongoing Cyberpunk campaigns.
That's cool.
So, giving them the full, like, neural overload.
Yeah.
They have the doubler, but they're putting in too much data.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than that, I have no fucking clue. I know.
I have a katana up there. We can take that little piece of the brain out.
I've got some LED strips left over. Glue them on there. You've got your mono katana.
Yeah.
So I know at least one person in the group has no experiences with cyberpunk as a genre at all. They have no clue what it is. So I have to kind of like go through all that, give them a little rundown, and then a couple people, and I think what makes up the rest of the group is people who know what cyberpunk is, are familiar with it through like, art or pictures or
Yeah.
backgrounds of those lo-fi those lo-fi mixes
Uh,
or whatever.
they
They
know
haven't
the
really
genre.
played the game,
Right. They might know about the
So,
genre, but nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got. I actually was just doing this earlier before the stream. I wrote out a little.
I'm sorry. I feel like you're like sitting 5 miles away because your chair's back behind. I got to look over my shoulder. It's just funny. It's like a little farther back than it
This
normally
is about
is.
where. No, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway.
So actually, just before the stream here, I wrote out a full, just about a page, introduction to the whole, what is cyberpunk as a genre,
what is the Matrix?
Yeah, what is cyberpunk as a genre? What is cyberpunk the game? What is Night City? Because that's where the campaign will be taking place. Who are cyberpunks? And then, kind of like what should you be expecting from cyberpunk?
That's good.
So
that's good. Like I think the players will appreciate that. I know as a new player back in the day, I would have really appreciated that.
I'm the one running.
We were expected to just go out and get the splat books or whatever,
Yeah.
read up about the game, but you had to be careful because then you didn't want to step on the GM's toes,
Yeah.
because if they were going to run it, they didn't want you to know about all the
Yeah.
scenarios and the special,
and that's
ins and
that's
outs
where it
and,
kind of gets tricky.
you know,
The good news is, none of my
have yous.
players, and they should all be very thankful for this. Hint, hint. None of my players will have to buy any of the books because I have found a very helpful site which has all of the books. So
we don't say that.
No, it's the our Talsorian Games site where you can buy all of the books very
okay.
legally and legally. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Allegedly, we would never do anything else except for the obvious legal purchase of books.
Bunch of people playing a game about cyber hackers.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong there.
Yeah, no. So, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Got the campaign written out.
That's
the
super
one
cool.
thing that I've been trying to figure out that I gotta cut it short here. We're going up in 9. The one thing that I have to figure out that I might actually call on you for some help with is just general GMing tips. Like, how do you introduce a scene? How do you build up your world a bit? How do you do this? How do you do that? Well, not necessarily world building because they pretty much do all that for you in the rule book because it's a pre-made city. But how do you describe a world? How do you kind of make it feel alive?
So I don't know if you want me to answer some of that now without going into like super great detail.
We can talk about that later because
we could do a segment on that. In fact, I think we got some new material. I'm gonna take some notes here.
Why don't you take notes on the break so we can kind of get this ball rolling?
I can do this without anybody even knowing it. I mean, other than like seeing me like try to reach in my pocket to get a pen. But I mean, I think that's good. I think we could do a segment on that, like DM, GM tips, world building tips. Because it's a lot simpler than you think, and like
there's our next Fireside Chat thing, GM tips. Turn it into a YouTube video as well. Throw it up on the channel, do all that.
It's a lot simpler than you would think, and the way that I like to describe it to people, this just came up a couple days ago, in 2 different forums, 2 different topics that were both intertwined, and one of them was how much as a DM, how much do you detail your world? And it came up in terms of like, how detailed do you make your political system, your religions, and so we had a wonderful thread that went on for days, on the same thread, very positive. There were no, it was one of the rare occasions where there were no trolls or assholes, and I said, this is going to sound cliche, but start small. Start in your main adventuring area. And they said, what about laws was a specific thing. They were asking specifically, how detailed do you document laws? And I said, here's what I found to be really helpful. I look at the countries around my adventuring world, and I come up with some universal laws like murder is against the law. Theft. We don't use rape in our game because I don't see a need to. Um, and it's a topic nobody wants to role play out and talk about, and you shouldn't. It's just, it's a heinous crime. So there are different things like that. Like certain religious things might, in certain parts of the adventure world, might be against the law. Practicing certain religions or practicing religion or not practicing religion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parallels to real life that goes in there because it's easy to model real life and put it into a fantasy game and then tweak it. So I have these basic high level things. Then for the places I know that the adventurers are going to be visiting frequently, that's where I start fucking with people and I start coming up with the custom local laws.
It is illegal.
No wearing red on a Sunday, or whatever.
There is, I think it's Pennsylvania. I might be getting the state wrong. There is a state here where it is illegal to be a woman and go skydiving on Sundays.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay then. Truth is stranger than fiction. Yeah. And that's a cliche. I know it's cliche, but you'll hear that like every now and then throughout your life. But god damn if it isn't true. Truth is stranger than fiction sometimes. Yeah, there's in fact there's a whole resource online of obscure and archaic laws that are still in existence to this day in the United States. No bathing on such and such a day unless blah blah blah. It's really weird.
It's weird shit that nobody enforces.
So point being is think broadly. Like what are some universal things that you want to make sure get covered, and then work your way to the meta level. Excuse me. For the areas that are going to be like the crib areas where people are going to be hanging out in the crib, and then what you want to do is this is kind of a new way of thinking of yourself as a GM or a DM. You got to think of yourself as an artist, okay? And you think of yourself like this, like the world that you create is your canvas, okay? And you start with this blank canvas. And even if you're using a book or if you're not using a book, if you start from scratch and you're totally making this up on your own, you start filling in this canvas. You start painting it with these broad brush strokes of the world that you want to present to your players, the world you pull over their eyes, okay? And then you tell them, be my guest.
Yeah.
Jump into this canvas. I want you to walk into this world. I want you to do things. I want you to interact with the characters. I want you to interact with the scenes, with the locations, the landmarks. And their actions will have consequences, good or bad or neutral. Really there's only 3 ways you can count it. Like, neutral is kind of, in the middle of the road, obviously, but everything the players do should have some sort of impact. Sometimes it may not have an impact, but there will almost always be an NPC or something involved that will remember. Then, if you're a good DM, you'll take notes on that stuff, especially the really critical points, like if people are committing murder, or if players, or if they're robbing places, or if they're being drunk and obnoxious, or if they're any of those things that would call attention to them. They're throwing a lot of wealth around. Yeah. Right? And then the stories start to write themselves before you know it.
Yep.
And again, keeping good notes, keeping a good adventure journal. And it doesn't have to be in battle report format. It doesn't have to be in a novel format.
Just notes.
The adventurers made their way through the perilous, straits of Khazad-dûm and whatever, right?
Adventurers went here, found this, interacted with this person.
Things that are going to make you remember, like they were in this town and somebody caused a bar fight.
Yeah.
And there might have been an NPC or two that they got into a scuffle with. So the next time they're in town, that playmate, that NPC may have a vendetta. It's that that pig swine that was here last month, and I'm going to go after them.
Yeah.
So they start to write themselves, and that's all based on what the adventurers do. Now, granted, I'm not saying freewheel it all the time. I'll say freeball it, freeball it. Sit around in your boxers, or not. Whatever makes you happy and your players are comfortable with.
We're playing online and the camera's only like here, so most people probably are.
What did Deadpool say? Shirt dick in it. But so like hey, more power to you. Whatever flows your boat, as long as your players all consent. Um, but you're an artist, and you paint this canvas in these broad brushstrokes, and then you let them fill in the details. And now this again, like without getting deep into the weeds here, we're already five after. We could hit the workbench soon, but um, there's more to it than that. But you'll do great. I think you've got enough player experience behind you, and you've watched me run for a long time,
Yeah.
and probably picked up some decent tips. I would hope there, and I think you'll do great. On
Awesome.
that note, should we segue over to the workbench?
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay, so for those of you who might be lurking and watching in the background, come on in, join us and chat. But do that in about 15 minutes. We're going to take a little break here like we do every week. We're going to take a
Yep.
15-minute intermission. We're going to put up a hold screen with, unfortunately, we don't have any hold music, but we do have a nice little timer that'll count it down. And in 15 minutes, we're going to return and we're going to be broadcasting from the workbench where we're going to be doing miniature painting and all kinds of other fun stuff. So we'll see you then.
See you then.
15. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Black Dragon Tavern. I'm your host, Dante,
I'm your host, Deacon.
and hopefully that's launched live.
It is.
We're working from the workbench. We're broadcasting live from our hobby bench here, like we do every Friday night during the second half of the Black Dragon Tavern show here on Twitch. And, well, let's see. It's no surprise tonight I'm going to be working on my goblins again. What are you going to be working on, Deacon?
I'm going to be working on these. These are a squad of prosecutors. They are Sisters of Silence for 40k. I'm actually doing these as a commission. So
Nice.
they are part of a Custodes army.
I was going to say
gonna be painting
you're
up.
doing that for your friend who's doing the Custodes build,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. So.
So
Actually,
sorry
funnily-
for him and his family and
Yeah,
their finances.
Yep. And funny thing is, I was gonna mention, and then you ran out to grab your water or whatever, that I'm actually gonna have a couple new kits. This close to being able to get them tonight to be able to work on for the workbench, but he just got a couple new kits that I'm gonna be able to start working on pretty soon.
Oh, what did he pick up?
So, he picked up a box of Terminators and a box of what I can't. Their names are all so confusing. It's like Custodians in Aloris Terminator armor and Virtus Praetors on Dawn Eagle jet bikes. That, and then he's got one of those big ones.
One of those big ones.
I've completely blanked on like all names today. He's got a dreadnought coming, and it's one of the Forge World dreadnoughts, which means it is like fully posable.
Oh, so he's
Think,
already on his way to his first mortgage.
Oh, he well past it. He's
Second
already,
mortgage, rather.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, the Forge World dreadnoughts are awesome. It's like building a fucking, what are they called, like Gundams or whatever?
Yeah.
It's fully posable. You can, like, move it. It rotates, like, shoulders, elbows, wrists. It's got hands that you can change out for, like, open hands or fists. It's got little, like, ball and socket joints for the ankles so you can, like, move it around. It's pretty cool.
That does sound really cool. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to get started here.
Me too. I'm gonna be doing some basing.
Just unpacked my little travel kit. Gosh, I don't need that on right now. Just unpacked my little travel kit from when we went to paint day last Saturday and haven't put any of this shit back. So my paints are all over the place. The ones I'll be using today anyway. Getting close to being able to do the first washes on these. And once those are done and dry, then I'll be able to start doing details.
I keep wanting to say, like, you paint very slowly, and then I always have to remember, like, oh yeah, you, like, only paint on here.
Yeah, I only paint on the stream. I haven't quite gotten fully motivated to sit down in between. You know, there was like right after the heart attack, there was that one winter that I sat down and I painted easily
oh my God, so much stuff.
a couple hundred pieces within a couple hundred months. I went a little overboard. I went a little crazy.
A couple months, not a couple hundred months.
No, a couple hundred items in a couple months is what I was saying. Yeah,
but you said a couple hundred items in a couple hundred months.
Yeah, not a couple hundred months, obviously. But that winter was very productive winter. There was some good stuff. I turned out some good stuff there. Did some really crazy little teeny tiny detailing on books, little miniature books.
The funny thing is, like, the reason I was thinking that is I started these guys Sunday. Last Sunday is the day after paint day because the weather was really nice. Surprisingly, because we've been having weird weather lately, lots of storms. But anyways, I started these guys on Sunday, and I am already onto basing them.
Oh, that's cool.
Just doing this final little... Oh, shit. I have to start the timer.
Got to remember to load up your chat window, too. Don't want to miss anybody who might be coming on in chat.
Yeah. But also, more importantly, I need to have my timer pulled up.
Your timer?
Yeah.
For
charging hourly. So I need to... Hey! Where's the alert box on here? Oh, it's... I'll be right back.
Is it our friend again?
Yep. Holy Spawn another one.
And a third?
Yeah.
Some people have nothing better to do than be idiots. Because their little brains can't process reality and stuff like that.
The ban list grows bigger by the day.
That's a shame.
Not really.
So, I know you didn't want to talk about it on stream, but I'm gonna break that seal. For any of our regulars that might tune in, because we do get a lot of people that watch after the fact. They can't make it for whatever reason to watch the live stream. What's been going on tonight is we've had an infestation of spammer bots trying to follow the channel, you know, so that they can effectively like get in here and be able to spam up our channels. And we don't know, I guess Deacon was reading that this one particular bot that's hitting us tonight is one of the primary hate bots that's been reported pretty widely. You know, but whatever, we'll take it all in stride. I'm not worried about it. It's probably some, you know, basement dwelling zit-faced little punk who's got nothing better to do than, you know, digitally masturbate to their latest hack attempt. And if you want to ask me how I really feel about that stuff, you can ask me offline. That's the abbreviated version of it. I mean, you know. I was hoping we'd see Aaron tonight. I wonder what he's got going on this weekend. It'd be nice if D Minecrafter dropped in. Got some Legion stuff painted. Oh, this is funny. Pant leg on this one goblin is torn, exposing his kneecap. I think of all those times, like when I've come down here to the workbench into the game room and you're painting at the bench and you have a stream playing. And, you know, in retrospect, it is kind of nice to have something going on in the background while you're working.
Yeah.
It's just background noise to fill in the empty space, the silence. Plus, if it's good content, you know, makes you laugh, makes you think.
Man, what the fuck?
What's up over there?
I don't know, man. My wrist is like killing me.
Playing too many games?
I guess.
I know mine does that because of my whole desk setup. I gotta change that up.
I think also what a part of it might be is I've been typing. Maybe I haven't. I was gonna say I've been typing like way more than I normally do.
School?
Well, school, writing campaign, writing world stuff, taking notes for all that. But at the same time, I spent a lot of time typing before, just like messaging and all that, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess on top of it, on top of messaging people, you know. This
Yeah.
has been a lot more than usual. So, maybe it's something like that.
Could be. Your body will let you know, that's for damn sure. Well, hey, think of it this way. If we keep having problems with this spammer, maybe we'll hit our 50 followers.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be ironic? Before they all get banned.
Well.
And then we could be like, hey, we hit the 50 followers, you know?
Yeah. I think it still counts it, even if they're banned from our chat. Like, as long as the account is still there.
Well, that's the key.
Yeah.
But as soon as that gets kicked by Twitch, that follower goes away. And the reason I know that is this same user account stuck around for a couple weeks, and they were a follower, and then the account got booted, and that follower went away.
Yeah. Well, you
Because
also...
we were at 18 at one point, and I think, I don't remember how many we have now.
Yeah.
17, I think.
We're probably up in the mid-20s at this point. But yeah. That would be a way to reach 50 followers, alright?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying I would like it, but, you know.
I would rather just
Achievement
avoid the
unlocked.
hassle.
What's that?
I said I would rather just avoid the hassle.
Yeah, I hear you. And I'm with you on that. It's like getting under these models and getting to some of these details is like super pain in the ass.
Tell me about it. I got these prosecutors that I'm working on. I got these pre-assembled, and I was telling you about that.
Right. Well,
And
those are part of what we were gifted.
yeah, and because of that, I am just giving them to my friend, because I don't have a use for them. They take up space, and it'll save him like, $50, which
You
will
are
immediately
super
go
nice
to paying me
for doing that.
for painting. So, I'm saving him money in one area so that he can give it to me in a different area.
Yeah.
But what's annoying is the way that I would do these with this basing scheme and this painting
Jesus
scheme.
Christ, I just stabbed
Yeah.
myself with a gobbo
I
spear.
saw that. The way I would do it with this basing scheme, this painting scheme, is I would just leave them unglued from their base until I actually, need to glue them onto the base. Because it's a whole lot of texture paint and all that. And I'm planning on doing it in these kind of like sub-assemblies. So I'll be leaving all of the capes off when I prime them. That way I can paint all the detail up under the capes,
Sure.
And then, leaving them glued off of their base so I can paint the base, kind of like how I did this one here, and then just glue them on later. Some of those will be easier than others. Like that, those bikers, they are on the flight bases. So I can just, prime them, do them all that way, and then...
Shit, I did it again.
Yep.
Getting my Britney Spears over here. Oops, I did it again. Thanks.
Yep. That'll be $5.
Rent's due on the 1st of the month.
I see how it is. I would say we're even then.
I saw a YouTube video from a painter who I thought was a little, I guess, over the top in terms of talking about how much paint is wasted. You know, like you only need a little bit, like, and people put these big drops on their palette. Not even a big drop, but just like a normal drop, you know. And it was like, yeah, okay, you know, whatever. Like, you could dig into your bottle. You could dip your brush in there. There are a lot of things you could do probably to conserve paint, but it's just not. I don't see it as that big of an issue.
Yeah.
Maybe if you can't afford the paint, you know, I get it. It makes sense. But this is like, you know, allegedly this pro. I'm not going to drop any names, but speaking of pros and names that are probably okay to drop, who's your boy over at GW, Tooth and Coats?
Oh, Duncan Rhodes.
Yeah, he's got a painting series now that you can.
Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's been out for, I think, a year now.
Oh, that long?
Mm-hmm.
I've just started seeing it show up in my feed on Facebook, which I've been trying to wean myself off of. I guess maybe I thought that was new. I'm out of date. I'm out of touch. Reading old articles about old comics from like old craft novels.
Now, old man.
What is time really though, when you're in the Matrix? Future is now, but it's all going wrong. Head for me a little bit with some of those lyrics.
Well, the good thing is, I can't even place him. My head's just in a different spot, man. Where's that from?
Oh, see, I almost started singing it. Can't sing it. Bodies killed for nothing, but it's to nothing they belong. So people work hard. Some people, I think it's some people they pray and some work hard. If you give them all your money, they'll give you their heart. This town's getting like a ghost town. It's getting like hell.
I do not recognize it. Oh, why did I glue that piece there? I'm encountering all these little bits of like, oh, this would look really cool if I glued this on the base in this position, and then it does look kind of cool, and then I get to the point where I have to paint it, and I'm like, why would I ever put it there? That sucks. Like, I have to reach around the cape and, like, all this stuff just to be able to get to this one tiny rock.
Careful now, reach arounds are a whole other channel. I really need to watch what I say.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that cap crap.
Wow, that's like a whole nother layer of shit on there.
It's like next level shit. Duncan Rhodes, huh?
Yeah. The British guy.
Is he a Mank?
Huh?
Is he a Mank?
Mank?
Manchester? Mancurian? Mancurian?
Don't know where he's from. UK. England, but not sure where within there. You just expect me to know his, like, whole name, phone number, email, social security, bank number.
Well, you are writing a cyberpunk adventure. No, for some reason I thought he was Mancurian. I thought he was from Manchester.
He might be, I don't know.
Of course, Mank might have a whole other meaning now that I think of it. You Manky get. So one of the things I was thinking of is we were talking about this last week when we did paint day, and I think when we were on the stream is I might need to do some recon at the store, at the game store, and pick up some good beiges and tans, browns.
Yeah, you do, because for as good as your paint range is, you're seriously lacking in the kind of like beige, tan, flesh tone department.
Oh, I know it. I'm feeling it too. Like, I pull out colors and I'm like, this is not quite the right color. This is not quite the right color. And it's very frustrating.
You know which ones I would actually really surprisingly recommend for skin tones?
What's that?
The Citadel ones. Because I found that they have good coverage, and a lot of them are really similar, but like distinct enough that you can tell them apart. I've been able to get some pretty good results with them.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to getting Citadel paints. You know, I mean, again, I think we talked about this on one of the streams a while back. I've got the reason I have so many Army Painter paints is I got a fantastic deal on the set. It was a steal I couldn't resist, and it was a way for me to replace literally dozens and dozens of paints that I had that were just crap. They were on their way out. They were drying out. And in one fell swoop, I was able to effectively pick up the entire Army Painter range.
Yeah. So check this out. Hand you a couple different minis here that I've used. Different.
Okay, but just it's gonna take me a minute.
No, you get no spare time.
It's kind of like real life, isn't that the reason we're doing this? Is to escape from that. You joy kill. Killjoy. Whatever the fuck. Rats. Now that I'm looking at these again, I'm seeing all these little spots that I missed.
Yeah.
First time around.
Yeah, you see how it is?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's just always easier to point it out when somebody else is painting.
Yeah.
All right.
So check this out. There's 2 different skin tones on there. There's one on the head that he's holding, and there's one on him.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
And then there's this, which is a bit lighter.
Where is this guy from? Where do we...
Warhammer Underworld Shadespire.
That's a good figure.
Yeah.
I see a Berserker coming up in my fantasy game.
That's why you had me paint him. Or, well, why I chose
I
that
know, but I
one to
lose
paint.
track of the shit that I give to you to paint because it's you're becoming
Yeah.
like the Dave Patterson, like the black hole of
So
miniatures.
there's that one, and then there's that one, which is a slightly lighter one.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
And then
I like the
there
effect.
is...
Did you do a wash on that already or no?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay, I can tell. That's why I can see. That looks really good.
And then there's this one. Be careful with the base on here because some of the texture paint is
Still love the blending you did on that
that gold.
robe.
Oh, the robe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What'd you do?
Nothing, but you got a... Shit.
I got A.
It's like a little dot
Oh, well.
of paint or something on the fold of that robe. That's pretty noticeable. It's a little beige speck.
I have to go over all of that
Okay.
anyways. And then there's this one, so be careful with the base.
Yeah. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
You know what that is?
What?
That is the simplest thing ever. Look at this. Gorthor Brown. One coat was enough to cover the whole thing without being like super thick.
Okay. Thinned though? Did you
Nope.
thin the coat, or you just
I
did right
just-
out of the pot?
Opened it up, used it.
Okay.
It was thick enough to cover it in one coat without being super, like, thick.
Uh-huh.
Agrax Earthshade, or whatever your, like, brown tone is. All over it, right?
Oh, nice.
And then you just go back in over, like, the very, because...
She's fucking awesome.
She is, yeah.
You've got to get a picture of that. Put that on.
I will.
I don't know if people can see that or not on the stream, but that is
Not really. The light from your thing
Yeah.
is...
Anyway.
But yeah, you just, because she has a bare head, no helmet, you know, you just take whatever the uppermost part is, like, upper, like, third of her head, and then you just go back over with that brown again. And that's all I did.
After the shade?
After the shade.
Hmm.
To kind of bring some, like...
Did you dry brush it, though,
Nope.
or for that?
No. I just...
So
Fit-
you
no, I just-
base coated it
Yep.
with, I mean, you primed it. I know what you primed it in. You primed it in gold.
Yeah.
Which is going to give it a nice undercoat anyway.
Yep.
And then you base coated it with the Gorthor Brown.
Gorthor Brown.
Okay. Then you did Agrax Earth Shade.
Agrax Earthshade.
And then how did you do? Did you do a glaze for the top?
Yeah, I just... Some on there, you know, kind of like mixed it, or I did some of this, some of that, kind of did that on the palette
Okay.
just to like kind of
Yeah.
get my
Okay.
brush back
Yep.
into a
Yep. Yeah.
pointed
Not
shape.
quite. Not quite.
And then
Not quite a. What's the word I'm
Yeah,
looking for?
not quite a
dry
glaze,
brush
not
and not
quite
quite
a
a
wash.
glaze. Yep. Okay. That makes sense. But that
yeah.
was really nice. That's
It-
that's a really good tone.
yeah,
Like I had to work to do the tone I did for my Executioner.
yeah.
You know, and I got
This
it
was
finally
so easy.
to where I wanted to do it. But I can see you totally doing that
Yeah.
for
And then the
when
other
you're
one
doing
that
figures that are characters of color.
I don't actually have any of the minis that I've done it on out here right now. They're all packed up in there. But the other one is this. This is called Rhinox Hide, and it's a... I keep forgetting. I keep holding it up here. It's this, like, much darker brown.
Uh-huh.
And it's really good. Oh, jeez, there it goes. Dropped it. It's really nice for, like, even darker. And I mean, with all of the, save for the last one, because the last one is kind of hard to shade. But with all of these, basically you can just put the color down, put a flesh shade over it, or yeah, put like a flesh shade or like a mid-tone over it,
Mm-hmm.
and then just take the same color. You don't even have to get a brighter color. You just take the same thing, go back in for a bit of highlighting.
Do you
And,
have one of my grays over there?
I do not.
Okay.
Although, if you want to put this back, I believe I am done with this. It's your brush-on primer.
Okay. Yeah, I wonder what happened there.
I have 2 of your paints over here. One of them. I had the brush-on primer, which you've just put back, and I have this bright gold, which I was using for some of the highlights.
Okay, no, it's all good. It's probably
Could
out
it be
here
those
somewhere.
2 down there?
It could be one of them, like uniform gray and dungeon gray. Yeah, I'm guessing. I got to go back through and organize that. But
I love this color, by the way. This bright gold.
yeah, that's a nice one.
I don't think I've even been using the right one. Don't you have like a shiny gold or something like that?
I do. I had one called Shining Gold. I have Shining Silver too.
Shining Gold was the one that I was using, silver. I think. And I was looking for that, but...
I had a mix, though, of...
I mean, I don't need it now. I'm done painting the gold. But...
There's one of them that's missing from there, too.
That's...
Okay.
This one. Ah! What is my chair stuck on?
Okay. Wow, this brown is drying out really fast in my palette. It's because you got that fan on. Thanks for moving that. Because I was going to say there's no way this should be drying out this fast. Aha, you bastard.
No clue why the fuck I'm shaking that.
What?
This texture paint that's like...
Super thick?
Yeah, super thick. Shaking it does nothing.
Force a habit.
Yeah.
I think I asked you this when we were at Paint Day last Saturday. You had talked about, like, I asked if you did some super detail with the Psycho brush, and you said no, I did it with, and I can't remember, was it the detail or the insane detail?
Detail. What's my what now?
No, I was trying to remember that conversation, like which brush it was.
Yeah.
Because I've been working a lot with the Insane Detail brush by Army Painter.
What I've come to realize, and this kind of ties back into what we were talking about many streams ago, with what did I learn from trying to paint my catechins more faster.
More faster. Nice English there.
Oh, Jesus, dropped it. Yeah, I mean, it goes with the whole thing, you know. New Orleans takeout, eat mo better, paint mo faster. You know? You remember the shirt?
I do.
So, one of the things that I kind of learned was I don't really need, well, for some things I still need the Psycho, like eyes and all that, but I don't really need to use the Insane Detail brush or like the Psycho for whatever, for like smaller things. I've gotten, in my opinion, good enough to a point where I can just use like the detail brush or even the character brush in some instances to do smaller details, like gems, tiny writing on the scrolls, you know?
Sure. I just happen to be working with a bunch of sculpts that have a whole hell of a lot of nooks and crannies, like in between the belt, for example, and the thigh. You know, where like if you don't get that color in there or the wash in there, it's gonna look like crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I find that it's easier for me to use a smaller brush on that kind of stuff. Okay, where did that? Yeah, I still have some of that on here too. Now that I'm working back under my task lamp, it's also a hell of a lot easier to see
Where you messed up.
where I missed. Not necessarily messed up, but my control is still really good with my brush. But the spots that I missed because the lighting over there was so terrible. Terrible.
Yours was.
Yeah, you took your own task lamp,
Oh yeah.
and I'm not investing in a portable task lamp or, you know, that's one I know you use for your bench.
I wouldn't call it an investment. It was like $18 or something like that.
Well, this is a conversation I had with your grandpa about investments, like because he said the same thing like about something I mentioned I invested in. He goes, well, I wouldn't call it an investment. I said, well, of course I know you wouldn't. You know, you're not getting anything in return out of it.
I wasn't talking about like getting anything in return or not. I'm just saying it was cheap.
Right, but you're getting something in return out of it.
Yeah,
You invested a little bit of money into it, and you're getting a good return because it's working for you on your workbench.
I mean, depending on how far you
upstairs
push that,
in your room.
like, you could say, oh, you know, no, Mom, listen, right? I needed those breadsticks. It's an investment. You see, I put the money in, and in return, I get a higher percentage rate of energy into my body. You see, I'm getting return on my money. So really, it was necessary to buy that.
I mean, you could. Theoretically, you could say that. Nobody's stopping you. That's one way of looking at it. An investment is a fusion of capital into a thing with the expectation that you will get a return of some sort. Usually monetary. However, it does not have to be monetary.
I'm infusing my capital into this McDonald's cash register in exchange for a return of Big Mac. I suppose it's just time to let these dry now. The most fun part of this. These have got to sit for... You know, I don't actually know how long the texture paint takes to dry.
Yeah, this kind of feels like a whole conversation we had
I think we did
months ago about texture paint.
Like, I know that it takes obviously longer than a normal paint to dry. From what I've experienced, it doesn't really make a difference whether or not I have it in front of a fan or not. But I have no clue how long it actually takes to dry, because most of the time that I do it, I just kind of sit down and then do it, and then I'll go to bed, and I'll just come back to it the next morning. You know, it's like the last step that I do for that night, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So...
Yeah, that I do remember, like, you setting it up so that you could just paint it and then call it a night.
Yep. Man, have you ever been in the mood to paint something really specific, but like there's not really anything else you can do?
Yeah.
Like, there is so much shit here for me to paint. I could paint the Death Guard that's sitting right here behind me, which I know you love. I could paint this Dreadnought that's sitting here in front of me that I would love. But I don't want to paint any of that, man. It's like I'm kind of getting into this groove and just seeing them almost fully painted. I say because there's still some basing stuff that I've left to do. I want to paint some Custodes. You know, I want to keep working on like that really awesome gold armor.
And depending on how you look at that, that's a good thing or a dangerous thing. And the reason I say dangerous, like not life-threatening,
Well, yeah,
but of course, like I might threaten your life if you don't finish my Death Guard on me.
Yeah, okay, I figured that was part of it. Yeah.
But you know, like dangerous in the sense of like that's how shit doesn't get finished.
Yeah.
You leave it sitting around half painted, and I'm not one to talk. I'm not saying I'm a saint, because Jesus Christ, look at my pile of like partially started minis. I have so many minis that I've started to paint because I got excited about them, and then I got like part of the way through, and I'm like, ooh, a new shiny came along, and then I wanted to start painting that.
Yeah.
So I did, you know, and then like several minis later, you know, it was like, whoops, I never got around to finishing those goblins. Which is why this might be torturous for anybody watching the stream on a regular basis, but...
Oh my god, he's still working on goblins?
Well, you know, Tom made a wisecrack like, Jesus, you gonna make any progress on those? Are you gonna do anything on those? And it was like, I looked at him, and I know I gave him a really... He must have seen it. He must have felt it. I shot daggers at him like... Really, Tom?
Mind daggers.
Really, Tom?
With
like...
your psychic abilities.
You know, I'm not painting for anybody. I'm painting for myself. And if I want to take my time and paint... I know he was just poking fun at me, but it was sort of like... You know, if I were going to be that guy, I would have said... I would have said the A word, you know. Actually. Exactly. Because, you know, that's the truth. It's like, I did a whole lot of fucking progress on these. And the truth is, it's like I'm having fun. I'm looking at these little details and things. And, you know, granted, these aren't going to be, like I said, Golden Demon quality.
They're not?
Painting.
Get off my workbench.
Yeah, I'm sorry, wait, what? Who built this workbench with the sweat of their own brow, by the sweat of their own brow and their own hands? Me.
Exactly.
Who made a space just for you?
Workbench.
Who made a space for you to share this with? Me. But you did a hell of a job on building your own bench out there for the other stuff. And that was super cool. Super proud of you for that. I need... What do I need here? Can I use your Xandri dust? Thank you. Also realized I've been painting this whole time.
Was it the wrong color?
No, and I didn't put it on the painting stick.
Oh.
So what's gonna be? What do you think? What do you predict will be the next thing you work on once you finish those up for your buddy Kai?
Um.
Is he gonna be bringing you over
So
pieces of the army?
I'm gonna be like these models specifically, or the army. Like once I finish these models, or once I finish the army.
No, once you finish those models specifically.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Like I said, I've got this Death Guard stuff that I could do.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I've got some Black Templar stuff that I could do, but at the same time, I don't really feel like painting any of that. And this is part of the reason, like you said, stuff doesn't get finished. This is part of the reason why the Death Guard has taken so long, is because I'll kind of bounce back and forth between, like, I don't want to paint, I want to paint this specific thing, I want to paint this other specific thing, and then it'll eventually bounce. It's like a ping pong table, not a ping pong table, it's like a pinball table. It'll eventually bounce and land on, I really want to paint Death Guard. So, the reason that I've been taking so long with it is I only try to paint the Death Guard in those times where it's like I really want to paint this, because I feel like otherwise I would just be painting it kind of like, yeah, I guess I'll paint the Death Guard, you know, do like a half-ass job of it. But when it's like I really want to paint the Death Guard, you know, it's like I want to make these dudes look badass.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, you get motivated to do it.
Yeah, and I find personally that when I get motivated for a paint job, I tend to do that paint job better, you know? Or I tend to put more effort into it, or I tend to whatever.
Makes sense.
So one of the things I was working on, I was kind of in this, like, what would you call it, like a lull or whatever earlier, just earlier this week, where it's like, okay, there's not really anything I can do on these prosecutors right now. Those are the only models for the army that I have to paint. You know, I don't really want to paint anything. What could I do? So I have these Blood Bowl minis sitting out here, and I was like, fuck it, you know, I'll slap on some paint, see kind of where it takes me. So I threw a layer of that brush on primer on one of these guys, and I'm still not done painting him yet. I decided to go to bed halfway through, but I'm getting somewhat close to the Packers.
Okay. That's funny.
So
those are Packers colors.
Yep. I just started throwing on stuff here and there. Like, I don't want to do my one kind of rule for this was I don't want to do black, I don't want to do blue, and I don't want to do green. And I know that there's green on here, but I meant like a more toned down green, like this Death Guard green, or like the camo green that I use, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So no blue because I paint too much of it, no black because I paint too much of it, no camo or green because I paint too much of it. So I was trying to stick to, like, what would a football team use? So I kind of sectioned myself off so I could only use the bright, in your face, look at me colors that I had, for the most part. So like I've got
Tesseract Glow and
yeah. So he's painted entirely in Nurgle Rot and Blood for the Blood God.
Yeah.
But I mean, some green, some yellow. It's kind of a cool combination. I might finish. I might finish this guy. Probably won't.
Tell you what's good for inspiration are like jester outfits.
Yeah.
Because they've got that's kind of what they reminded me of when you showed that to me.
I really want to buy a Harlequin troop. You know, like the Eldar Harlequins.
Yeah.
Because those look like they would be such a blast to paint. like all of the different colors, the patterns, all of it. It looks so cool.
Yeah.
So I've actually since I got paid last week, every day it's been like, do I ask if I can get a ride to Misty to pick these up, or do I not pick these up? What do I do? So I've really been like, do I buy these? Do I not buy these? Do I buy these? Do I not buy these?
I'm going to channel your mom here for a minute. Here's an idea. How about you walk up there and go pick them up?
So the funny thing is, I actually, going back a few topics, you must have like, wind outside or something, storming, I don't know, I didn't hear anything. I have not been in the mood to paint Space Marines lately. So this is one of those, like, kind of curves, like, oh, I got Black Templars are awesome, I want to paint these. And now I'm kind of winding down. Back to Imperial Guard. Back to, new thing alert. Go over to Custodes, back to Death Guard. Back So, I haven't actually worked on any of my Marines in a while.
You really are my son. That sounds like me. Like, new thing.
Yeah.
Drop all your toys in the middle of the floor and then run to the new thing.
So, the
struggle is real.
I might actually work on these a bit now, which would be kind of cool. But I've got these guys, and I haven't really decided what I want to call them yet. Like Chapter Serfs, something like that. They are...
Is that the unit that you're putting together, cobbling together, like... of other units, or what were they?
Kind of, yeah. It's they're Necromunda gangers from House Caudor, and I'm actually painting / maybe playing them as servitors.
Right. That's
yeah. And there's no real like. Oh god.
Oh dude, this is gonna be.
Holy shit! Big. It's 10:15.
Oh, you're kidding me. We ran 15 minutes over, huh?
Well, that's about an hour since we got here, about 9:15 or whatever from the break.
Sure. That time flies by when you're not paying attention.
It does, yeah.
And we've been watching chat, and I don't think my chat's frozen here, so...
Mine is not frozen. I don't think yours is frozen. I think it's just empty.
Yeah.
So,
a smaller wedge.
What do you think?
What do I think? You mean like calling it here?
Yeah.
Sure. We could call it here.
All right.
I'm gonna keep working on this stuff for a little while. I think.
Don't really. I mean, I did my 5 bases that I was doing, and I'm not really in the mood to paint anything else tonight. I'm in a creative mood. Just my head's in a different spot. I want to like write shit out. I want to do like world building. I'm kind of in the mood for like, man, GMing seems like it could be really fucking fun. I want to work on this. I want to work on that. I want to write this. I want to do all this.
Yep.
And then sitting down to paint, it's almost like, all right.
A chore.
Yeah.
It can be a chore. Yeah, and that's why people get burned out on painting. Miniature painting is fun.
Well, the funny
it's a good
thing
hobby,
is,
but it can take a toll on you for a little while.
I wouldn't say I'm burned out on it. I really want to paint. It's just that someone hasn't gotten off their ass and dropped the new minis off at my house yet, so I can't actually work on them just yet. So I'll grab them this weekend. So.
Well, okay. I guess on that note,
yeah,
we will. I guess let's wind it down, eh?
Yeah.
And the one thing I forgot to put on the remote version of this was the end stream button. But Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. We will not be here tomorrow.
Oh.
We're going to be at the Madison Flamingos football game. Again, that's soccer for American fans. We're going to be checking that out. We're going to have like some VIP seating and a whole bunch of swanky stuff too. And I'll see what we can do. Like maybe snapping a couple of pics to put up on the gram for the channel. It sounds like it's going to be fun. But again, because it's a company sponsored thing, I don't want to dip my feet in both pools. You know, like we have to kind of keep that separate, just to avoid any conflict of interest or anything like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, check us out on Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, at Black Dragon Tavern Online. Check us out on Twitter. Quiver.
That's like the
Yeah.
second week you've done that.
I
now.
know. I just there's something about it. I don't use Twitter a lot. I hate it. I shouldn't say I hate it,
It's
but
such a
like
shitty app.
It's
such a bad platform.
yeah. Anyway, we're there. We have a social channel there, and
yeah.
the handle is at Tavern_Black.
Go there if you would like to be reminded of when we are going live.
That's pretty much all we do is we
Yeah.
post out when we're going live. You know, we don't really utilize that media.
Yeah.
A lot of our followers aren't on it, but
The main one we use is Facebook.
yeah, we
Be
do.
sure to
We
check
do.
us out on
We
there.
create events on Facebook for the Twitch, and we do a lot of posting there. And now the new Discord server. So Facebook is simply Black Dragon Tavern, and look for the dragon head, and you'll know it's us. In
Yep.
case you see anything else out there, YouTube channel is available on our Twitch page. Go to the About page on our Twitch channel, and you'll find that and the Discord link, because those are some whole lot of hot mess going on with those URLs. You know.
Yeah. Give us all your money and we can get a better URL. For
Give
Discord.
us all your money. Yeah, I request your jewels and your...
Yeah, there's like it's server boosting or whatever. If you get your server to like level 30 or whatever,
Yeah.
you can get a vanity URL for your server.
Yeah, I saw that. We're a little ways off
And
that,
it's
but...
like $9 a month per boost, which isn't that bad because normally if you have Nitro or whatever, you get 2 boosts for free for $9 a month, along with like all of the other perks. But that's still like way under the 30 that you need to get to the thing.
Shameless unsolicited plug here.
Yes.
Speaking of Nitro boosts, my latest addiction is my boy Murda on Twitch. Murda. Check him out. He does a hood track out of Texas. I can't remember what part of Texas, and I hate to admit that he's there, but es mi raza. He's my people. He's a really cool guy who like does these streams from this racetrack, you know. And if you're into drag racing and that, and hot cars and fixing up cars, he's got a really funny channel. Plus, he eats these tacos that look like they're off the chain. I mean, these tacos are the bomb. I don't know. It's just a taco truck that goes to the racetrack. And that's like during the last part of his segment, he goes with his buddy, his partner that does the filming and all that.
Oh, I'm interested.
And they always showcase the tacos. And he talks a lot about like, you know, having the runs because of the tacos, and I feel bad for the poor dude, but check him out,
It's gotta
Murda.
be worth it though.
Yeah, and yeah. So anyway, there was the tie-in to the Nitro Boost. Thanks again for tuning in.
Yeah,
we'll see you
thank you
next
so much.
Friday at 8 p.m. Central.
See you then.
Till then, have a good night.